It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour back in your life on this Monday, October 12th, 2015. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Halwani inside our New York City studio. If you're watching us live in the United States, happy Columbus Day to you. I have no idea what Columbus Day is all about. Of course, I'm sure it has something to do with Christopher Columbus, but really, what does it all mean? And why are people not working, for the most part, today in America? I don't know. I'm working. I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I can't wait for today's show. Also, happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadians out there enjoying Thanksgiving. Truth be told, I never celebrated Thanksgiving as a youngster. It wasn't really a big deal in Quebec. I'm not sure why either. I got a lot of questions that have been unanswered at this point in my life, and I'd like to know why in Quebec we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Regardless, it's Thanksgiving in Canada, so happy Thanksgiving. If you're off, I hope you're watching our show with your family while eating turkey, if that's what you do in Canada. But most importantly, happy 7-year wedding anniversary to my lovely wife, who you saw on this show last week. What a ride has been from the beginning, and I love her very much, and I can think of no better way than spending our 7-year wedding anniversary than me doing this show right here and her alone at home. All right, what are we talking about? By the way, I first have to say, speaking of last week, I feel like I'm still coming down from that emotional roller coaster. I can't thank you all enough for the kind words and that video. I mean, Monday night, Tuesday even, I was still very, very, very worked up over it. It was something that I'll always cherish. So again, thank you to Andy Mayer and New York Rick for that. By the way, big week for New York Rick. He's getting married on Saturday. How about that? Actually, no, incorrect. His wedding is Saturday. He already got married. That's how weird of a guy he is. He got married on one day, and a year later, it's his wedding. Very strange. We will dig into that a little deeper later on in the show, but we got a lot to discuss on this show. Once again, thank you very much for all the kind words, about 300. And like I said, I try to make every episode 300-esque, 400-esque. I try to raise the bar each and every week, and I think this week we have proven that. Very interesting cast of characters joining us this week. What's going on? All right. Around 3:05, John Fitch, who is facing Yushin Okami in a welterweight fight at WSOF 24 this Saturday at Foxwoods in Connecticut, will be joining us in studio. John Fitch, returning. He liked it so much the first time, he's back for more a second time around. So I look forward to that. Cody Garbrandt of Team Alpha Male will stop by. Big week for them. He'll stop by at 2:45. 2:25, Joseph Duffy, who of course headlines UFC Fight Night Dublin in a little less than 2 weeks, will stop by at 2:25. Joseph Duffy, currently in my hometown of Montreal right now, training at TriStar. 2:05, Sage Northcutt, Super Sage Northcutt, the rising star that is the 19-year-old Sage Northcutt. He'll stop by to talk about his whirlwind of a week, UFC 192, that whole fight week experience, his amazing debut, all that and then some. Looking forward to talking to him for the first time. 145, we'll talk to Travis Brown in his first interview since his suspension and then his suspension being lifted. Lots going on with Travis Brown. Of course, he has a fight coming up in January against Matt Mitrione. Looking forward to talking to him. 125, we're going to talk to Johnny Hendricks about what happened to him at 192, and 1 o'clock, as I promised last week. Don't doubt me. Dwayne Ludwig will stop by to talk about all that's going on in his life. Of course, as always, we'll take your questions and comments at around 3:50 this week. So hit us up using the hashtag #TheMMA Hour. Leave a question or comment in the comment section below. We are starting earlier this week, 20 minutes early, because we had to accommodate the biggest newsmaker of last week. So very excited that he is joining us. Excited that he's leading off the show. Apropos, if you ask me, we're talking to the UFC bantamweight champion, TJ Dillashaw, right off the bat. He joins us right now via the phone. TJ, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it as well. So, wow, what a week it has been for you. From what I understand, it was around this time last week, Monday of last week, that you informed some of the members of Team Alpha Male that you'll be going to Colorado for your next camp, in particular Elevation Fight Team. And of course, once this news came out on Tuesday, it spread like wildfire, a lot of takes going back and forth. A week later, given the reaction and what has transpired since, are you still happy with the decision you made?
Oh, absolutely. There's no other way I would have made the decision. I mean, obviously, it's been really tough, actually a lot tougher than I even imagined. I thought it was going to be going over a little bit easier, but you really find out who people are when you got to make these kind of decisions.
So why tougher than you thought? What happened that you weren't expecting?
I thought some of the guys on the team would. I mean, actually, everyone did actually take it that way, but I feel that Urijah took it a little bit harder than I thought he was going to take it. I thought he was going to understand my position and understand where I'm at, and kind of feeling like he almost put me in this position.
In what respect?
I kind of want to talk about the position I've been put in. I've been stuck in between Urijah and Dwayne Ludwig for this last camp, going back and forth to my training camp, and these guys bickering at each other and making it tough on me. He brought a coach into Team Alpha Male in my last 2 years of my career that I learned to believe in, I learned to love, and I learned to trust with my career. And then he leaves, and then a bunch of drama happens, and I'm having to choose where I want to go and who I want to train with. Am I not supposed to train with a coach that I put all my faith into and help me win a world title? I believe if you go back and look at my fights in the last 2 years and see how my kickboxing has developed, I owe all that to Dwayne. It's a very, very tough situation to be put in.
So do you feel almost like your hand was forced, given what's happened, especially in the last couple months, that you had to make a decision one way or the other? Either you're staying with Alpha Male full-time or you're going to Colorado to be closer to Dwayne, but you couldn't keep doing what you were doing for the last couple fights?
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously more in this last week, I was forced into a lot of more things than I thought was going to happen. My plan was, I told Urijah, look, man, I got a big fight coming up. I got to do what I believe is best for me getting ready for this fight, and that's spending my whole camp in Colorado. I split it half and half my last camp, and it was really tough. It was hard to do, going back and forth. And I just felt, with the team they have out there, with the coaches they have out there, I felt a little more comfortable with spending my camp out there. And, he took it pretty hard, and I was actually forced out of the gym. I'm not allowed to work out at Alpha Male anymore because of that decision I made. I live in Sacramento. I've lived in Sacramento the last 6 years, and I've been putting in a lot of work here and helping the guys out as much as possible. I teach kickboxing classes on Mondays and Thursdays, and that's just not really going to fly with me when I get into camp. And it's tough for someone to not understand that I put my heart and soul into this team as much as I possibly can to kick me out of the gym. I'm not allowed to show my face at Alpha Male, which is kind of crazy to me.
How have you been handling that? Is that heartbreaking for you? You've been banned from a gym that you've been a part of for your entire career, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what's that like for you? How do you stomach that?
One day at a time, and I don't know, man, it's tough. Super tough. Just know that I'm making the right decision and that I got a big fight coming up, and ultimately that's the most important thing. I made this decision to train somewhere else. Like I said, I didn't think it was going to be as blown up and as ridiculous as it is now. But it's real tough, man. Especially when I'm best friends with all these guys. Not only is it training partners and guys I want to do well in their careers, but guys that I love and care about every single day. So it's a super tough thing going on.
How are you with Urijah now after that decision? And I don't know if you heard it, but I'm sure you've seen some quotes. He was on the Stud Show radio podcast, which is an Alpha Male podcast, talked a lot about this situation. After all of this, in the last 5 days or so, what's your relationship like with him?
I'm just trying to look past all this and understand that maybe his feelings are hurt. But, he kind of put me on blast when he went on that podcast. I'm trying to be the bigger man and not to bring out any negativity and what he's doing here in Sacramento, because it'd be very easy for me to do so. Especially after him putting me on blast on Stud Show Radio, when I went and just talked about the positives of Sacramento and the positives of me moving camps, and then he got to get on there and talk a little crap and throw me under the bus. I just don't want to be that guy, and I want to keep my relationship going with him. And the only way to do that is to just look past it. I understand that his feelings are hurt, that I'm going elsewhere, but I feel like he should understand it just like everyone else on the team. I feel it's a little bit more understandable with some other guys on the team, and his feelings are hurt, I guess. I want to continue a relationship with him. I want to continue to be his friend, so I'm just going to be the bigger man.
So are you done with Sacramento? Are you moving to Colorado full-time, especially now that you're no longer welcome at Alpha Male?
Yeah, I'm actually heading today. I'm catching a flight to Colorado to go and find a house to lease out there for the next year. I'm definitely set out there for the next year. Not saying I'm not going to be in Sacramento at all. My family lives here. They live an hour and a half from Sacramento. I've created a life here the last 6 years in Sacramento, so it's not like I'm not going to be here. I'm keeping my house in Sacramento, but I'm not allowed to be in the gym in Sacramento, so it's almost kind of pointless to come back when getting better is in the off season. You prepare yourself in camp, you sharpen your tools in camp, you get better out of camp. And so if I'm not allowed to come back here and work out, then it's pretty ridiculous. I'm full-time in Colorado.
So ever since this news came out, and I'm sure you've seen it because you look at your Instagram, your Twitter, it's amazing the amount of negativity that has been thrown your way. And a lot of it started with what Conor McGregor said about you. We talked about this on my show. And now you've been viewed as this, or painted as this Benedict Arnold, this quote unquote snake in the grass. A lot of venom thrown your way. Has this blindsided you? Did you expect, when you knew that this was coming out, did you say, oh, okay, this is going to happen to a degree, but the amount in which it's happened, did that surprise you, or were you fully expecting that? Because it's been pretty amazing to just look at the comments. It's all negative towards you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It was just, I guess, timing is everything, I guess, on that, and it all happens at the time of Conor calling this out. It's actually kind of ridiculous for him to call me a snake or a traitor, when the fact that I made a business decision. I feel like that's, that's like Conor's thing, is making business decisions. It's all about business. The fight business, and I'm getting told I'm a snake because I made a business decision for my career, and that's just pretty hypocritical to me. And now we got all these people believing in what he says. If I'm a traitor, then I feel like he's even a bigger traitor to his country. He reps Ireland and he's a big countryman, and then he lives in the United States now. He moved to Las Vegas. Why? It's better for his career. It's business, and so I hope everyone understands that. Like, I'm just trying to stay on top. I want to become the best MMA fighter possible, and I need coaches to do so, and right now in Sacramento, I'm teaching kickboxing classes. Martin Campman's moving home. We have a great mitt man and a boxing coach, but he's a boxing coach, we have to coach each other at Team Alpha Male right now, and that's a big problem for me. When I've noticed what a coach is going to do for you and how much better it can make you, I need that in my life. So it ultimately is a business decision. I can have these haters out there, but haters going to hate.
Dwayne isn't officially a part of Elevation Fight Team, although he lives in the same city, and I know he has a good relationship with Leister Bowling and those guys. If they weren't based in Colorado, and Denver in particular, would you have not even entertained that thought? Does this make it easier because he's there as well?
Oh, absolutely. The only reason why I even know about this great team is because of going to Colorado. So I wouldn't even have known about Elevation Fight Team and all the great coaches out there if I wouldn't have gone to Colorado. Leister Bowling is an awesome wrestling coach, and as well as a head coach, and he leads by example. He makes everyone accountable. He makes you feel bad for missing practice. They got Elliot Marshall teaching jiu-jitsu. Lauren Mandel, one of the best strength conditioning coaches out there. They got an awesome striking coach out there, Christian, that I'll be hitting mitts with, and then Dwayne. So, yes, Dwayne is a huge influence on this. I was going to work out with Dwayne no matter what. That's why I went to Colorado for my last camp. Not even knowing what was out there, I went out there. I just packed myself up and knew that I need to be around Dwayne. He makes me more confident, and I know that I'm a better fighter around him. So, yeah, he's a huge influence on this.
When Urijah was on this show and spent around 80 minutes or so talking about the whole story between him and Dwayne and the falling out, if you will, was that the breaking point for you? Was that the final straw, or was it something else?
I wouldn't say it was the final straw. The final straw is just talking to some of the coaches out in Colorado and thinking about my career in the long run. That definitely helped. That wasn't very cool in my eyes. A lot of it was true, on both ends from what they've been saying about each other, but a lot of it's blown out of proportion too. And to go on an 80-minute rant about someone's a little bit ridiculous, and both those guys going back and forth at each other through the media is a little childish, and so that definitely helped me push me one direction. But ultimately, it's about me wanting the best for my next fights and my career, and I think I'm going to grow more as an MMA fighter with some coaches around me.
When you first came out and talked about this news last Tuesday, you talked about it being a business decision and you getting paid. And who can fault you? You're a fighter for a very short amount of time. You got to make that money. We all understand that. Since then, Uriah on that show talked about how I think if you dedicated your life to mowing lawn for a year, you'd make the same amount. So, and even Brian Stan, while complimenting your decision, said maybe in hindsight you shouldn't have talked about the money because that leads to other issues. Yeah. Guys compare. In hindsight, do you regret saying that, or are you fine with putting out the reasons? I think a lot of people appreciate that honesty, but it has brought upon these other comments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret it at all. It's just the fact of MMA. If I would have stayed here at Alpha Male, I would have put a lot of money in to be my own coach, to where I'm getting sponsored. It's a sponsorship from Muscle Farm that's willing to put some money behind me. Not only money, but to set up my camp the way I need it. To bring in training partners that I need, to figure out the best situation for me to be the best fighter possible. So, no, I don't regret talking about it. It's a situation I couldn't pass up. It was on my mind. I'm a very honest person, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I can't really hide any details of what's going on, and I'm in a very fortunate situation, and Muscle Farm believes in me, and I want to believe in what they're going to do for me.
Are they paying you big money to go over there?
No, I wouldn't say it's definitely not huge money, but it definitely makes a difference. Okay, here's what it does. It's pretty much just going to help me pay for my coaching. I still have to pay for my coaches. I still have to do that. It's just helped me do so. It's pretty much the same thing as getting me a sponsored monthly from someone else. It's helped me figure out my camp and be able to put as much energy into my camp as well. I don't have to go and mow lawns, if that makes a difference.
Right.
To the camp.
You're no dummy. I know you see the comments out there and what people in the media and fans are saying. This is all leading to a fight between TJ Dillashaw and Urijah Faber. Are you open to this fight now based on what's happened over the past week?
I didn't think I would be until Urijah started saying the stuff he did. He's the one saying that he's more than willing to fight me now, And I thought we were a lot closer friends than that. I put my heart and soul into this team, and I thought we were a lot closer than that. So, he's obviously looking for, I think, a big fight in his career, and I don't want to have to do it, but, I'll be the last statement on his career if that needs to be, but that's not the way I really want to do it.
But now, he talked about Dana White asking him twice and him turning it down. If you get that call after Cruz that they want you to fight Faber, you can understand why they would want it. The amount of attention this has received is pretty insane. Do you say yes at this point?
Yeah, probably most likely, yeah.
And given your training sessions in the past, how confident are you? Because he knows a lot about you. He helped groom you into the fighter you are today to a degree. Is this a fight you're comfortable as far as skill versus skill is concerned?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. How strange would that be for you and with your relationship to the guys, or do you feel like there is no more relationship with those guys anymore? You're your own.
No, there's definitely a relationship with the guys, even with Urijah. I don't want to have to fight Urijah. That's not something I want to do. I love the guy. I think the ball's in his court. I'm the champion. I have the belt. The ball's in his court. What he wants. I'm leaving it that way. What he wants to do. I want to keep relationships with all these guys. I love them all. They're family to me, not only teammates. There's not one guy on that team I don't like. Even the guys coming up, they're gonna have a future at Team Alpha Male. All the young guys coming up, they have some studs coming out of that room. It's a bunch of iron sharpening iron. I just feel that they could benefit from having some coaches there. They could benefit from me being around teaching kickboxing classes. Which I've already been doing, but now I'm forced out of the gym, which is very hurtful. It's just I need a coach as well. I can't be coaching everyone else and coach myself. And I just don't understand how Urijah doesn't see that. The sport is growing. The sport is becoming amazing. There's guys like Sage Northcutt coming in at 19 years old and looking good. These guys are going to catch up to us, and I got to continue to get better.
I understand Joseph Benavidez got married on Friday. You were all there. I saw pictures of this photo evidence. What was that like? I saw pictures of you sort of next to Urijah. Did you guys talk? Did you try to clear the air, or was it awkward?
No, it was good, man. It's fine. Maybe I guess a little bit of awkwardness, but no, I'm fine with it. He's making his decision. I guess maybe strictly off of business too. Who knows? I'm going to be the bigger man, like I said, and I want to continue a relationship with Urijah. I don't want this to be a bunch of drama, So I'm trying to continue life as it was. I had a great time at the wedding. It was one of the best weddings I've ever been to. It was amazing.
Are you fully expecting in the back of your mind, given how big of a fight this would be after Cruz, that you're going to be offered this?
Yeah, I've definitely talked about it, with my management, with my wife. It's probably something that's going to be pushed towards me, I'd imagine. I guess it's just, I'd imagine Zeus was pretty happy about this.
Yeah. Do you think that, I mean, you can't foresee the future, but it's amazing. You still have 3 months, more than 3 months before the Cruz fight. How are you going to, every single interview that you do from now till then, I bet, and it's amazing. The Cruz fight is a fascinating fight. Like I said, I think to you, last time we were on the show, it's maybe the fight I'm most looking forward to stylistically coming up. And
Me too.
I would imagine like 80% of your interviews are going to be about this topic. How are you going to deal with that distraction?
So that's what I'm dealing with it now. I'm getting everything I want out now. I'm coming on your show now and speaking my mind. When my fight gets closer and I get into camp, I'm going to tell them, if you want to ask me a fight about me and Dominic Cruz, I'm more than happy to do an interview with you. If you want to talk about me leaving Team Alpha Male, I will not do an interview with you. If you ask me that question at all, I will stop the interview. It's just the way I'm going to have to play it. I mean, this isn't about me and leaving Team Alpha Male. It's like, what about all these other fighters that leave camps to go to different camps to become a better fighter? Like, this is being blown out of the water. And if you want to ask me about Dominic Cruz, the biggest fight of my life coming up, by all means, I'll talk about it and how I'm going to win this fight. But anything else, I will just stop the interview.
Why do you think it's being made into such a big deal?
Maybe just because of the fact of how close Team Alpha Male is. We haven't had anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had guys leave, and no one that's been the prime group of the last 6-7 years. I mean, we've all stuck through. We've worked through some problems and tried to figure some things out. That's why we brought Dwayne in. I mean, that's the only reason why Dwayne even came in, is because a bunch of the guys met up with Urijah and told him we needed a coach. Uriah did a great job and research on who we should bring in, and it was a fantastic thing, and then it turned into this. So it's just because I think I'm the first one of the big name that's leading from the team.
Just throwing it out there, do you think part of it has to do with the fact that you're the first champion? Did you ever feel afterwards that there was any resentment towards you?
I didn't. They've done a great job backing me. Every guy in my weight class, every guy on the team has done a great job supporting me, and I actually never felt any resentment. Maybe there is, I don't know, but I definitely did not feel it. They've done a great job staying as a family. I mean, I think it's just, I don't know. I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah, and of course, I should clarify first, UFC champion, of course, Urijah Faber, decorated WC champion. But, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a much bigger stage, and you were the first. That will always be the case. So right now, you're going to Colorado. Is that it? I mean, are you all packed up, or you're just going to check it out? You're coming back to Sacramento. I would imagine Sacramento, not a very big place. You're going to run into these guys. It's gonna linger until you leave, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope I run into these guys. Like
Okay.
I said, I'm family with them. I want to continue to be friends with these guys. Yeah, I leave today to go find a house. I don't have all my stuff packed up yet. I need to figure out where I'm living and figure out that whole situation. I'm going to go out there and get some practicing in right now, since I can't practice here, other than shadow boxing in my backyard or whatever. But go out there, practice, find a house, hang out with the team. That's one thing that I feel bad about as well, is that the guys that started the Elevation Fight team, the guys that are out there that are already really good, I feel like getting overlooked by this. You got the Neil Magny's, the Brandon Thatches, the Tony Stens, the guys that aren't even in the UFC that are amazing. One of the best sparring partners for my last 3 or 4 camps, Corey out there. There's so many talented fighters out there that I don't want them to be overshadowed by this drama that's going on. I'm moving into an established great team, and I'm excited about it, and I'm glad they're letting me come. They're letting me join their team.
In the back of your mind, can you understand why Urijah said to you, you can't come to the gym anymore, or do you feel like that's completely off base and unfair?
I do think it's unfair. I mean, I can understand where he's coming from. Him thinking that I have to leave to do what I can because it's not good enough there. That's a hard truth. Hopefully it lights a fire under his ass and he fixes some things I have to know for the rest of the guys. But I do think it's unfair because I've given back. I feel more to this team than he has in the last few years. I'm in there teaching practice when he's not even in the gym. It's funny, he said since his whole announcement and me saying I was leaving, he's seen me more at the gym. The only reason why he's seen me more at the gym is because he's been around more. I'm the one putting in all the hard time there and teaching classes and being there. I'm one of the guys that's in the gym year round. So yeah, I do feel like it's unfair. I feel like I put in a lot of effort to make the team better.
What about this reputation that you have this temper and that you hurt guys and things like that? Is that unfair?
I definitely have something I've had to work on. It's just my competitive edge, in practice. I definitely don't do it maliciously. It's something that I'm just an aggressive. Like when I get into sparring, I spar a little bit aggressive. I'd say I got blown out of the water. It's definitely a fault of mine that I have, but I think it was harped on a little bit too much. I mean, I'm aggressive. I feel like that's what's won me my world title though as well. But I've had to control it, and I mean I have to continue to try to control it and need controlled aggression. To bring it out when I need it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
The two last quick things, and then we'll let you go. And I really appreciate the time. He used this term family, and actually, I do really believe that the alpha male team is a family. Like when you won the belt, it was amazing to look at your teammates react to the win because you can tell there was no jealousy there. I mean, they were so happy for you. Do you feel like that's salvageable at all to still remain a part of that family? Just you're part of the sister camp, if you will, and you're still viewed as, one of those guys? Or do you think as time goes on, because it's all well and good a week later to say you want to be a part of it, but you know how this thing will blow up. Do you think as time goes on, it's just going to be impossible to remain that way?
I don't think so. I think as time goes on, it'll make it easier.
Okay.
At least I hope so. I hope some feelings get lesser from it. But I'm definitely going to put my effort in to try to continue to be a part of this family because it's helped me in so many ways with just life in my career. There's no way of around it. I love these guys. So, I think we'll see that it'll be a little bit easier here in the near future, actually, even too.
And like I said, this situation has been brewing for quite some time, and I think anyone leaves another camp and we don't see this coming, it's just a story, a guy leaves a camp. But because of the back and forth and all that, it's turned into this soap opera, if you will. Is there anything that in hindsight you wish you could have done differently, or is this the case of a champion somewhat outgrowing his team and looking to remain as competitive as possible, keep that edge, and go find some fresh training elsewhere? Is that all that this is, or is there more to it that you wish you could have done differently?
That is what it is everything you just said. The only thing I would have done differently is maybe the timing. Maybe I should have done it before Conor McGregor decided to talk some crap on Ultimate Fighter, and then all of his minions are going to follow and talk a bunch of crap. I got a very influential person. He's growing huge. He's smart with his words. I think he saw this coming before Urijah did. He knew that, I have a close relationship with the coach. Like that's something you can't pass up. Once you get that relationship, I have a guy that works harder at his job than I do, and that's it's hard to find. So I guess just the timing. I would have done it maybe probably earlier. If I could have.
Okay.
I was trying to figure this out though. I was trying to salvage what I have as a family, I was trying to figure out. Hopefully, we're going to switch some things up. We're going to bring in some coaching, and it's going to be a different situation. So I was trying to hold on as long as I possibly could to this, because like I said, it's a very tough situation for me. Even just to tell Urijah that I wanted to do my full camp in Colorado was a really hard thing for me to do. So yeah, I mean, I wish I would have done it earlier, but it was hard because I was trying to hold on to something.
Last quick thing, was this 100% your decision, or did Dwayne try to get you to go over, Leister Bowling, anyone else try to recruit you to leave the team?
Oh, 100% mine. Yeah, when Urijah said that Leister recruited me,
that
was kind of crazy, because Leister is the one that told me, he's like, do what's best for you. If staying in Sacramento is best for you, then you need to do that. He's like, he wasn't telling me, it was before anything of me being sponsored came into the question, saying that, I need to figure out what's best for me. And do you think traveling back and forth is the best thing? Staying in one spot? And he liked me as a person. I like him as a person. And he just wanted the best for me. He didn't try recruiting me. It was me making this decision all on my own.
TJ, really appreciate you coming on, especially before your flight. Good luck with the move and looking for a place and all that. Good luck with this transition. And, of course, good luck in camp. Thanks so much for the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there he is, the UFC bantamweight champion, TJ Dillashaw, joining us. A emotional week, a hectic week for him. A lot of news coming his way, and from his neck of the woods in Sacramento. What a story this has been. And like I said, I think a lot of people, as much as there are some who feel like, this is all about mano a mano and martial arts, everyone's attracted to this kind of soap opera, this kind of drama, and it's one that we've been seeing for quite some time. And when you throw out words like family and the references or the similarities to The Godfather and all that, I mean, this is a guy who was brought in by Urijah Faber, and they appear to have had a great relationship, and he became a champion. He was a part of a very tight-knit team. I think he nailed it. Not a lot of guys leave Alpha Male. And the reason for that is, I mean, they're they're just a bunch of good guys that everyone seems to get along, and there's no reason for that. They've really developed something amazing from the ground up in a very short amount of time. For one guy to leave and him also being the champion, it starts to raise questions, and we saw this coming a long time ago. I mean, it turned into this crazy story, and it all came to a head last week, and I can imagine it's going to play out for weeks and months to come.